Hey there, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at Brain Damage by Shintaro Kago. This is newly out from Fantagraphics. Shintaro Kago is someone who I'm not sure how I feel about as an artist. I really like Shintaro Kago's like big pinup illustrations, the weird dimensional play, kind of the distortions on the body, the technological stuff. I've read one other collection of work and like mildly enjoyed the narrative work and wanted to give it another try. And I'm kind of leaving this volume with the same hesitation about the artist. I'm back to my Kanye West fried pickles thing. It's like every time I eat a fried pickle, I don't know if I like it or not, so I eat another one. And that's kind of how I still feel about Shintaro Kago after this book. But really, it's a collection of 4 or 5 short stories. They're all kind of horror stories, which seems to be like this uh, almost like flow state, making it up as you go type of horror story is what it feels like. This first one is called Labyrinth Quartet. We've got this woman who's kind of like seen multiple versions of herself. She's trying to escape this labyrinth. There's a killer in there. I think the most impactful scene in here is kind of a rip off or a riff on the Junji Ito, where the guy has to squish himself through the tunnel. She's trying to escape, and she enters a big tunnel that it gets smaller as it goes, but she couldn't quite see that because of just the perspective of being in it. So she gets stuck, and then this guy comes in to kill her. So that's like very viscerally unsettling to me. This because I'm like claustrophobic or agoraphobic. I need to be able to get out to feel comfortable in a place. So like that makes me very uneasy. But the art in some of this, like given how cool Kago's art can be, I think the narrative work is just kind of mid. I think he's a good artist, but he doesn't go quite as crazy on a lot of the narrative stuff. It's when you get images like this from Curse Room that I really think his work like works well, when there's a lot of the perspective stuff going on and there's like rhythmic trickery, like kind of creating little sub panels. That's the stuff that shows up in the illustration work that excites me, and when it shows up in the comics, I think is when the comics are most effective. This Curse Room is an interesting one as a concept. This is the Restful Dead research facility, so it's a story about like basically bringing back zombies, and they don't know they're zombies, so they're trying to make them be at peace with their zombiehood before they figure it out themselves. So some fun, interesting little short stories like that. And there's always like a kind of gross horror, body horror element in his work as well. It seems like this is not the most exciting thing for me, but it's not terrible either. It's just like here's a dead body and the body being cut apart, but it's never like all up in it in a really nasty way. But I almost think that's to the detriment of the work. I think getting those bigger, more wild images would be good for the work. And then there's some stuff in here that I just find completely unpalatable, unnecessary. Like this is this weird story where as the grandpa has dementia, the grandpa's dementia is causing him to forget people. And as he starts forgetting people, there will be like holes in them, and then eventually they'll disappear. And he's like a lecherous old perv who thinks that his granddaughter's sexy. So in this scene, the granddaughter's like letting her grandpa lick her ass because that will make him remember her and bring her back. And it seems like the whole story, like that's really kind of his pervy relationship with her is the main thing going on throughout the story. So I just don't see any reason to make a story, and it's not treated like terribly. It doesn't seem like it's supposed to be an uncomfortable horror element. It just seems pervy in this one. So that one I found really off-putting and unsettling. And like in terms of the fried pickle thing, that was definitely one that's make me less likely to come back to further Shintaro Kago work. And then the final story is called Blood Harvest. This is kind of like you could see this woman finding herself in a world where all the cars are beat up, and then she's comes out of that dream into seeing her like friend smashed up in the car next to her. This story probably has the best body horror stuff. Again, I'm not a huge body horror guy, but if you're gonna do it, like do something like this. Don't do the little panels. So I'm like a half and half on this book. Again, I don't really know how I feel about the artist, but it's in a territory that's not my biggest interest anyways, the kind of gore for the sake of gore. And then with stuff like, the grandpa eating his granddaughter's ass, like it's not for me. I don't think that kind of stuff is necessary. I think there's better ways to make people uncomfortable than that. There's a difference between legitimately making someone uncomfortable, like viscerally uncomfortable, and then just being edgy for the sake of being shocking and edgy. And I feel like Shintaro Kago really plays with that line and tips over it often. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think this will probably be my last Shintaro Kago, but I do like the art. I do have moments where I think, this is a really interesting, successful artist. And I know a lot of people, are probably like, "What? You're crazy! This book's awesome. It's one of my favorites. My favorite mangaka." But fine. Definitely not mine. I think as a narrative artist, he's pretty mid. As an illustrator, he's really great.